Welcome everyone to a day of lab. So a couple things we need. We need you to pull out your iPads right away and then open up the app called Graphical Analysis. And we used Graphical Analysis back when we did the potato osmosis lab. And I had sent you a file that you were able just to input your data. I have another file for you to input data today. Okay, so open up Graphical Analysis. It seems to work better if you have it open first. So open up the Graphical Analysis. It's Graphical Analysis 4, but it's the one that we used the last time. And then have your airdrop set so make sure I can see you. And then I am going to start airdropping you the file. When you open it, it should have 3 columns in the data table. Okay, and if it doesn't, let me know and I'll send it again. There are some I don't recognize. I'm just going to hit send. It's going to come from tests. MacBook, that's me, I don't know why, but it's, yeah. So I'm just gonna hit airdrop to a bunch of people, and if it goes to your phone or something you don't want it to, then decline it there, that's fine. But hopefully it is coming to you. And I've sent it to everyone I see on my list. Did everyone get it? And if you don't, oops, you probably don't want that on your iPhone, but I just hit it anyways. It's okay if you decline it to your personal cell phone, I get it.
Can you send it to me again?
Yeah, me too.
Sure. Sure. Okay, anybody else? So when you open it, should have, there, Jesse, that should have three columns in your data table with headings over the top. Yes? Anybody else need it again? Okay, anybody else? Anybody else have it? Okay, so if you have it open, okay, if you click on the name, actually you're just dead. Okay, just let me know when it gets open. Once you have it open, there should be 3 columns with headings over the top. If you tap on the name in the upper left-hand corner, go ahead and do this. Name in the upper left-hand corner, and you're going to want to go Save As. Save As. If you want, you can change the title. Probably perfectly fine. It's called Floating Leaf. Good enough. You should be able to recognize it. You probably want to choose Folder. I would suggest you choose Folder. And then you might have to click on Location, but I would go on iPad, then Graphical, and then be done. Because then you should be able to find it again. Does everyone have it? Does anyone need me to airdrop it one more time? I can get it to you in lab too in just a little bit if we need to. Okay, so you're going to use that to enter data, and then it will graph the data for you. That you will be able to take a screenshot and submit it directly into your Google Doc. There is only an electronic copy of this lab file. So through Google Docs. There's also in the Google Doc, there is a data table that's blank if you want. I don't encourage you, but if you want to, you can go through and you can enter all this data into your lab data table. However, if when you take your screenshot, we can see the data table on the right-hand side with your graphs on the left, I would call that good. Then you aren't doing double data entry. So most people, when they're doing the lab, are putting their data directly into this file, and then they're able to take a screenshot and then just attach that to the lab. The lab. Go to Canvas. In Canvas, it's called Floating Leaf Disk Lab, something along those lines. You can either click on today's agenda, or you can go through and you can click on the assignment. And then there's a Google Doc that you will open. You'll have to make a copy, share and export, make a copy, and then I would encourage you to move it immediately to the biology folder that you've given me sharing access to, so when it comes time to grade it, I can grade it. Everybody see the file? Everybody got the file? Modules, Floating Leaf Spinach Lab. It should be under Thursday or Friday for the week of November, what are we in? The week of November 9th? 10th? 10th, I think it's titled. Okay. In that lab, there is an introductory paragraph. Please read the introductory paragraphs. in the introductory paragraphs, there are answers to the questions that we are asking you at the end of the lab. Okay, so we're going to say, well, why did you add baking soda? It's in there. Why did you add dish soap? It's in there. Okay? Let me talk about the lab. So the lab. The lab is where we are going to go through we have a bunch of spinach leaves that we went through, and we took a hole punch and we punched out a bunch of them. There are 2, 4, 6, 7 of you, okay? I have 4 lab stations set up. I have one here, 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 and here. I have spinach leaves already punched out for you, okay? So since there's an odd number, either one person works by themselves, or we can do one group of 3. We just got to make sure we spread out in the distance. Okay. So these I just punched at the last of the hour. You need 20 of them. Try to get the full circle ones. Some of them are more like crescent moon. Okay, so you need 20 of them from this. Okay. If you don't have enough, let me know. I just really like that sound. I'm going to do it again. We can try to get you some more. Then you have a syringe at your table. Take 25 discs and put 25 discs into your syringe. Okay. Try to get them all near the bottom. Then you're going to put your plunger on, and you're going to push out. Try not to crush the disc. You're going to try to push this down, and if it's only that far, that's fine. Then it talks about making a sodium bicarbonate solution, which is baking soda, water, and dish soap. I've already made it for you, and I will fill your little beakers for you. By the time you get there, they will be filled. So you don't have to make the solution. I already made it for you. Then once you have your 25 discs in here, you need to fill this about a third full of solution. On that table right there, there's 2 beakers, one big, one little, that has the solution in it. You will put it in there, and you physically will pull water up into the syringe. About a third full. About a third full. So once your syringe is about a third full, okay, your syringe is about a third full, you have discs in here, they're probably going to float, and they should float. The reason why they float is in the leaves, there's something called mesophyll, spongy mesophyll, that has lots of air gaps between it. During the process of photosynthesis that occurs in leaves, it produces oxygen, and that space gets filled with oxygen, so they're going to float. We want to get rid of that oxygen. We want to get rid of that air, so we are going to try to make these sink. So the thing you want to do is you want to push out the air bubble, most of the air bubble, and then you want to create a vacuum in the syringe to pull that air out of the mesophyll. So the best way to do that is you take your thumb, you shove it over the end, and you press firmly. My children are learning to play the recorder in grade school. Yes. So they get lots of squeaky notes because they aren't making good donuts with their fingers. That's what their teachers say. Hey, you should have good donuts. So like when you pick up your thumb, you should have a donut because you're pushing that hard over the end. That's exactly what you need to do. So press, and then you're going to pull, and you're going to hold for 10 seconds. I created a vacuum in there. Hopefully it seals nicely for you, and you shouldn't be a lot of bubbles coming through the side. You're going to hold it for 10 seconds, and then release both at the same time. Okay? There have been 2 groups that have released their thumb while still pulling, and they dump everything all over the table. Don't do that. If in doubt, pull that one out first, and then you can let your thumb off. Okay? But then they should give them a tap. They should sink. If they don't, get rid of that air bubble. Repeat it again. 2009, 2010. Okay? They should all sink. If they don't, do it one more time, but they should. Then this contents gets dumped into your Petri dish. Okay? All 25 get dumped into the Petri dish. Then, they should have all sunk, they're all sunken. 10 go in each beaker, 10 go in each beaker. Those will have solution in by the time you get to that point. Once you get 10 in each beaker, we are going to count how many float every minute on the minute for 16 minutes. So one of you, your partner and you have to have a stopwatch or a timer, and you're gonna start it. And every minute on the minute in that data table, you're gonna record how many are floating. One of them will be under a cup, which is dark, no light is coming through. One of them will be underneath the lamp with lots of light. Every minute on the minute. Because we're gonna socially distance, one person will have the light over there, the person with the cup is gonna be over here. With the cup, my cup is not dark, okay? With the cup though, the idea is it's in darkness. When it's time, you both check at the same time. You go up, you say there's 2 floating. You put the cup back on and you keep it dark as much as possible. Straight up, straight down. There have been 1 or 2 groups that have gone, how many? And then stuff spills all over the place. Straight up, straight down. With the lamp, it works best if you just kind of over to the side and then back. Because then you aren't shaking your beaker all the time. You're going to do that for 16 minutes. 16 minutes, every minute on the minute, you're going to record that data in your data table. I'll kind of be picking up stuff as you go to kind of be cleaning it up for you. The data table, take a screenshot of your graph. That gets submitted in Canvas along with all the questions answered as part of your lab write-up. You can put it all as one file. Each person will be doing their own lab report. Again, the ones that I recently punched just at the end of the last hour was this lab table, this lab table, this lab table, and that lab table. If you have any questions, please let me know. Also, make sure you read that introductory paragraph. And now that we have our 10 discs in each beaker, we can go through and we can put one beaker with the 10 discs under the lamp, and then there's another beaker under this cup. And every minute on the minute, we're gonna count how many discs are floating. It's been 1 minute, and 0 have floated so far in here, and we just checked that one, and that was also 2 minutes. There's still 0 floating in that one, and let's peek under that cup. Also, still 0 floating there. 3 minutes, 0, and still 0. 4 minutes, 0, and still 0. All right, so you get the idea. We're gonna do that every minute on the minute from 4, I've shown you 4, we're gonna go all the way through to 16. At the end of this video, I'll go through and I'll take a picture of a graph for you so you can get your data from that. All right, like I said, this is your data that you're going to want to use for the rest. We went through the first 4 minutes with you and kind of graphed it. But then what happened shortly thereafter, they started rising and they rose at a pretty consistent rate. So here is the data. You can take a screenshot of this graph and this data table, and you can submit it directly into your lab report. But you're going to use this data to analyze and interpret the questions in your lab write-up.